Hi, I'm Sean. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Corded. We provide AI-powered recruiting, coaching, and retention software to brokerages and teams.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about some of the things technology can do through their source to help teams build.
Yeah, so I'd first start to think about, as a team lead, how are we going to grow in 2024, right? We can affect the unit count per agent, the average sales price, or the count of agents that we have. And I think given the market that we're in, which is relatively slow, the first two can be somewhat challenging to affect as an individual team leader.
Right.
So I used to lead recruiting and expansion for the fastest growing brokerage in the country. And I think the brokerages that have had the most success when it comes to recruiting are thinking about systems.
Right.
And I think the opportunity that AI and modern technology presents is common for both the brokerage and the team lead. So specifically, one of the things that I talk to some of my customers about is how can we recruit the right agent at the right time for them with the right message? And so in that way, we were just listening to folks talking about leads. We start to think about the recruiting funnel as a team lead
Yeah.
in the same way that we think about our consumer funnel. And so now every agent that works near us is a potential lead. And so the question is, are we being reactive? Of course, we
Yeah.
can build awareness and we can host events, but can we also be proactive and go hunt folks that might have high intent to leave their company, that might match the criteria that you look for in terms of successful folks that have done well on your team? And that's what I think some of the new technologies can help you to do.
So if I wanted to target a certain agent that's doing a certain PPP productivity wise, and I wanted to, track certain metrics because not all people are going to fit the team, we're now able to use what AI and predictive to find that particular agent. And I'm always curious, how does it start to know they're getting ready to leave? Because that's the magic, right?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? So the traditional way of understanding an agent's performance is to look up the production last year and kind of cross your fingers and hope that the same thing happens next year. Turns out that's not a particularly good way of doing it. And so there are some branches of AI that don't get quite as much attention as generative AI, namely machine learning and predictive analytics, that can actually take a lot of the data that we have available to us in the industry and start to look forward and make forward-looking predictions at the individual agent level. So two examples of that would be to understand over the next 12 months, what is the sales volume for a specific person? Now that sounds maybe really challenging to do. When we backtest some of the things we do, it's 6 times more accurate than looking at last year's number and hoping that it happens next year. We also classify 4 out of 5 agents before they leave their company. And there'll be many different things relating to their business, but also things that any of us in the audience know to be true. The manager leaves the company. There's a number of top teams leaving an office. Most of us know in practice that's a sign of potential vulnerability in that office.
Right.
So the point of AI is not to recruit the agent for you, but rather guide you so you can be surgical about the 5 people you might want to consider reaching out to instead of dropping an email on 50,000 agents in your local market.
Right. And ask it to have coffee, which is like, if I get one more of those, I'm going to lose my mind. Is it time to go have coffee, which is a recruiting call that no one wants to hear anymore, yet it's still being used day to day. So it's very precision, it's very precise in accuracy. The question I have for you, Sean, is after we've targeted these people and isolated through technology, how does the messaging work? How does that, are there triggers there? Who makes the messaging? Do you guys create it yourselves? Does AI do it? Who reaches out to them?
Great question. I think anyone who's done any recruiting in the room would probably feel that there's a psychological hurdle to actually doing the recruiting. It's all well and good to have a few agents on a list, but it can feel almost overwhelming. Like you need to dedicate a whole day to looking up people's Instagrams and looking in 3 different places just to come up with something that stands out when you reach out to them. So I think when we think about generative AI, the types of technology that we interact with when we use ChatGPT and other platforms like that, what those language models seek is structured data. And so the cool thing about some of the new technologies is you can get highly individualized, personalized messages that come out of platforms that are specific to that agent, that congratulate them on something they didn't know about their own business, that can talk about the most recent connection you have to them, and can even throw in the value propositions of your business. So you don't need to be copying and pasting, because the point of all of this, right, is to put yourself as a team lead in the situations where you maximize your time. And the situations where you maximize your time may be spending time with clients. It may also be face to face with an agent, convincing them to join your team. So how do you use technology not to do your whole job for you, but put yourself in those really important situations?
Excellent. Good. The systems that you're talking about, though, could they also help retention too? I know we got like 20 seconds, but teams that need to keep retention, can that technology trigger those people on their team as well if they're getting ready to leave? Is that working well?
Yeah, exactly. So you could get imagine a system that alerted you anytime someone on your team is a retention risk. Like that's the type of technology that we're talking about. I think if, you were mentioning what's like one parting thought that
One parting
yeah
thought.
that
Yes.
I would leave with everyone. I think there's a lot of advice that's given in the industry that says, okay, there's all these new technologies. Make sure you learn everything about what's going on. You could be a full-time tech reporter in real estate and not learn all the new technologies that are available. I think the key thing from my perspective is figure out that one area that you think is going to change your business in 2024. Is it more agents? Is it more productivity per agent? Is it more leads? And then just go research that space. Speak to other practitioners that are doing it. We've heard a number of really good ideas on stage today. So
Excellent.
just find that one area that you want to get deep on. Don't try to do it all at the same time.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much. We got to wrap. Thank you guys for joining us, and big round of applause, please. Thank you guys. Awesome.